वर्णिवेशरमणीयदर्शनं मन्दहासरुचिराननाम्बुजं पूजितं सुरनरोत्तमैर्मुदा धर्मनन्दनमहं विचिन्तये प्रभु तव मूर्ति विनोदकारी पलपन विसरे नहीं जो विसारी जुगल चरण सोड़ चिन्ह जेह नजर समीपे रहो अमारी एह गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वर गुरु साक्षात् परम ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। बोलो श्री स्वामीनारायण भगवाननी जय, श्री ठाकुरजी महाराजनी जय, श्री हरिकृष्ण महाराजनी जय, श्री घनश्याम महाराजनी जय, श्री सद्गुरुदेवनी जय, श्री 500 परमहंसनी जय। Supreme Almighty, our beloved Thakurji Maharaj, all the divine Sadgurus from our Muktanandiya Parampara, Patmaka to Liberation, Pujyapat Guruji, and all of you devotees, Jai Swaminarayan. After getting this satsang, we need to attain some more virtues. Because as Pujya Guruji many times said, one who is specially selected by Bhagwan himself, only and only that person can get this satsang. Not everyone can get this satsang. So now we have attained this satsang. So it's definitely, we are sure that we are selected. We are chosen by Bhagwan himself. Now, after getting this satsang, after involving this divine fellowship, what need to remain to please Maharaj? What need to remain to get a divine Rajipa of Mota Purus, meaning Ekantik Satpurus? There's different kinds of lots of virtues we need to attain after getting this satsang. But whether one can attain all those virtues or not, that doesn't matter. But if one can attain these single virtues of Dasbhav or Dasatva, one can easily attain all of the different virtues in one's life. So today we are going to try to understand what is Dasbhav, how we can attain it, and most likely what is the importance in our life to have a Dasbhav. First and foremost, let me see first what it means to have a Dasbhav in our life. So first, merely by listening this word Dasbhav, literally meaning humility or servitude. But not only this verbal meaning, but in satsang, Dasbhav has a very deep meaning. Because when we read the scriptures, when we practically observe these divine virtues in Ekantik Satpuru's life, then we can understand this is not what we understood. Meaning, many times we have listened or we have read this Dasbhav in scriptures or through the Santos Katha, then at the time we can understand only that things like remain humble or performing seva humbly, that is our Dasbhav. But in actual sense, it has some deep meaning. No doubt, those acts of kindness, meaning our humble behavior, our attitude to perform different kinds of service, meaning seva, while remaining humble, this is also a kind of Dasbhav. And not only that, but this is the beginning of Dasbhav. And That's why we can say we are on the path of attaining Dasbhav. We are not have completely attained Dasbhav, because one who has completely Dasbhav in oneself, then he become like Bhagwan himself. That's why here we can consider humility, servitude is not only the meaning of Dasbhav, but it has a deeper meaning besides this as well. So let me see what the scriptures, meaning what the Vachanamrut says in next slide. Here in this Vachanamrut Krida middle 62, in this Vachanamrut Maharaj himself says, a person who has an inclination of offering bhakti with servitude, meaning Dasbhav, would like the darshan only of his Ishtadev. He would like to hear talks only about him. He would like his Ishtadev's nature, and he would also prefer to stay only with him. Nevertheless, even though he has such love for the sake of serving his Ishtadev and earning his pleasure, he wishes day and night, if my Ishtadev were to command me, I would follow that command most happily. So, first thing, only he would like the darshan only of his Ishtadev, and he would like to hear talks about him. He would like his Ishtadev's nature. All these things very easy to accept in our life. But the highlighted things, he wishes day and night, if my Ishtadev were to command me, I would follow that command most happily. This is very difficult. Why? Because in our practical life, when we observe our own self, we need to do some hard work. We need to do some effort to follow Bhagwan's and Ekantik Satpuru's Agnya. On the other hand, here Maharaj says, he wishes day and night, if my Ishtadev were to command me, I would follow that command most happily. Meaning he remained very eager and very ready to follow Bhagwan's command. On the other hand, we sometimes have to make some effort to follow Bhagwan's command. So this is what the difference in our servitude and servitude Bhagwan mentioned here in this Vachanamrut. In his Ishtadev were to, if his Ishtadev were to give a command that would force him to stay far away, he would stay there happily, but in no way would he be disheartened, because above it is said that he has a very intense love for Bhagwan, and so he always wishes, if I would stay with Bhagwan. And here it is said, if his Ishtadev were to give a command that would force him to stay far away, he would stay there happily. So this is also sometimes tough, because one who has love for someone, definitely that person try to remain, always be with that person, or anyhow always remain connected with. But here, even though he has love for Bhagwan, still if Bhagwan give him a command to stay far away, then that person, that devotee, definitely and happily follow that command as well. In fact, he finds supreme bliss in following the command itself. This is the highest level of servitude. So only to follow 100% commands of Bhagwan and Ekantik Satpurus, that is the definition of servitude, meaning Dasbhav. Why? Because Dasbhav, one who has attained Dasbhav, or one who is walking on the path of Dasbhav, he or she never think, I can do this and I cannot do this. I can follow this command and I cannot follow this command. Such kind of devotee, they do not have like such kind of feelings. He has only one thing in his mind, like I have to follow this, I have to do this. If Bhagwan said to me, if my Sadguru command me, so I have to do this. This is what eagerness, or we can say intense force of his love for Bhagwan or Satpurus that remain in one's heart, and because of that one remain very humble, very ready to follow his each and every single command. So if we want to attain this Dasbhav in our life, we must need to understand what is the definition of Dasbhav according to Maharaj's perspective. Because I have said before, we have in our mind the definition of Dasbhav is just humility and servitude, that's it. But here Maharaj says, if one follows completely and happily Bhagwan's command, then that person is said to be a das. So it's upon us whether we want to be a das or not. And if we want to be a das, we must follow Bhagwan's each and every single command. Now we have attained Bhagwan in many different forms. First, in Murti form, meaning to one to whom we offer our worship, meaning we can change clothes, we can meditate upon him. In this way, we can do his darshan, we can prostrate before him, we can perform his puja every day in the morning, we can perform arti. In this way, we have attained the same form of Bhagwan which is always resides in Akshardham in the form of his idol. Second, we have attained the same form of Bhagwan which always resides in Akshardham in the form of Satpurus. Because in many Vachanamruts, in many scriptures, it is said that Bhagwan forever resides in the heart of Sant. Just as Bhagwan resides in 8 types of murtis, meaning 8 different types of idol, in the same way Bhagwan always resides in the heart of Sant as well. Niskuran Swami said, Santa manajo mari muratire, meaning we should believe Sant as a form of Bhagwan himself. So according to all of these scriptural words, Bhagwan's word, his Ekantik Satpuru's words, and because of all those words, we can easily understand that the Satpurus is the form of Bhagwan himself. So now, third form of Bhagwan is the Holy Scriptures. Because what is written in the scriptures, the scriptures either created by Bhagwan himself or his Ekantik Satpurus. So it's simply we can say all the scriptures created by Bhagwan himself. And that's why we should understand the scriptures is the form of Bhagwan. Moreover, Bhagwan himself said in the Siksapatri, you should believe my words as my personified form. And that's why we should believe the scriptures is the form of Bhagwan. So now, in this present time, Bhagwan definitely would say something to us while staying in his idol. But we are not capable to listen those divine voice from the idol, because our devotion was not like such. Because those devotees, those Satpurus, they have attained such a high spiritual level, so they can easily converse just as we are converse with each other face to face. In the same way, while standing in front of idol, they can converse with Bhagwan, because while doing darshan of Bhagwan in the Mandir, or even while standing in front of any of murtis of Bhagwan, we have some kind of feeling in our heart like this is murti, this is painting, this is a photo, this is idol of a stone, this is an idol of gold. In this way, we have a different feeling in our heart. On the other hand, Bhagwan's Ekantik Satpurus, they have not like this feeling. They always believe this is Bhagwan himself. And that's why they can talk with Bhagwan, as well as Bhagwan also give different kinds of commands or different kinds of whatever Bhagwan wishes to tell Satpurus. They can converse while staying in murti, in idol. Now, for our own self, we do not have that much ability to listen Bhagwan's divine voice from the idol. So now, how Bhagwan tell us what we should do, what we should not do. So Bhagwan, while staying in Satpurus, he definitely said us, you should do this, you should not do this. So according to this Vachanamrut Gradamidal 62, if we follow Bhagwan's Ekantik Satpuru's words, his commands, then we consider our own self as a das. If we are not following his commands, we are not saying our own self as das. And we came to this satsang, we are following many of rules, many of rituals, only and only to become a das. Because if we become a das, Bhagwan would become extremely pleased upon us. If we would become a das, our Satpurus, Pujya Guruji, would become extremely pleased upon us. And if Satpurus become pleased upon someone, then his everything is done. Meaning, merely by his pleasure, merely by his rajipo, one can attain everything in this satsang, in this spirituality. So we have to try in every single moment, in every single day, what my Satpurus says, what my Bhagwan says. I have to follow their each and every commands. So this is what the definition or meaning of Dasbhav. In next slide, let me see what is its importance. For the importance, we also consider the scripture, meaning we are not going to directly understand the importance of getting Dasbhav, but why we should develop or why we should cultivate the qualities of Dasbhav in our life. It's only because according to this Vachanamrut Gradamidal 28, I become extremely pleased with one who manually serves the devotees of God. This is the words of Bhagwan in this Vachanamrut. So here Maharaj says, if one manually serves the devotees of God, I would extremely please upon that person. So now we want to serve manually, meaning physically, everyone, meaning every single devotee. But how we can serve them? If we have ego in our heart, we understand our own self greater than the others, how we can serve them? We're definitely not doing this. And if we do not perform this manual service of the devotees, then Bhagwan would not become pleased upon us. So if we want to make Bhagwan pleased upon us, we want to attain Bhagwan's Rajibo by serving the devotees, then we must cultivate the qualities of servitude, humility, or we can say a Dasbhav. That's why the importance of Dasbhav remain in our life. Meaning on every step in this satsang, we need a Dasbhav. Second, in the same Vachanamrut Maharaj says, in fact, the only method for a person to please God is to serve devotees of God by thought, word and deed. The only method to displease God is to speak devotees of God. So, if we want to make Bhagwan happy, then Maharaj says the only method for a person to please God is to serve devotees of God by thought, word and deed. Sometimes we only understand manually, meaning physically serves the devotees, is the characteristic of Daspanu. But here Maharaj says by thought, word and deed. What happens if sometimes we have an ego in our heart? Sometimes we have a tamagun in our mind, meaning we are very disturbed by any kind of situations. At the time, a meek devotee or very humble devotee, he asks something to us, he asks our help, he asks anything, and at the time, we cannot respect him by our words. If we respect him by words, definitely not by thought. At the time, we definitely thought like, why are he asking at this time? Why he cannot stay for some times and ask me after? In this way, we, by thought or by word, we hurt a devotee. Not directly, but sometimes indirectly. So in this situation, Bhagwan, while staying in the heart of the other devotees, he notices our heart, our thought, our words and our deed. According to our inside situation, meaning our thought, also our words and our deeds, Bhagwan would give us a result. He gives us a point. How much you get the point of Daspanu according to Bhagwan, that depend upon this thing. How we behave with the other Santo and Bhakto by our thought, word and deeds. Moreover, Maharaj says, hence, in order to please God, I desire only to serve devotees of God in this life and all subsequent lives. Furthermore, just as this is my resolution, all of you should also make the same resolution. This is the final decision given by Maharaj to us. Just as he has this resolution, meaning Bhagwan himself wishes to serve devotees, not only this life but also in next lives. So, what we should learn from this? Maharaj is Maharaj. He is the Supreme God. He does not deserve to do this, but he only tells this for us. If he has such kind of resolution, even though he is Bhagwan himself, then we are his follower, we are devotee. We do not have any divine virtues in our life. We do not have any divine attributes or divine power. Nothing. What we have. We do not understand what is devotion. We do not understand how to perform devotion. We do not have any divine qualities in satsang. Still, we understand our own self greater than the others. That is our great mistake. If we want to get Dasbhav, then we must need to understand our own self. Very humble, meaning we are nothing, and all the other devotees, Santo and Bhakto, they are greater than me. If we understand this, then and then we can perform the all kind of service for the devotees of God. And by serving devotees of God, we can easily attain Rajipa of Maharaj. Now let me see what Pujya Dada Guruji's life teaches in the next slide. Here in this slide, Pujya Dada Guruji's life, we all knew about his divine lives. Because Pujya Dada Guruji, most of the period in his life, he remained a mahant of different various big temples. And a mahant should not do to manual service of any duties of anyone's. Why? Because he is a head of the temple. He need to only sit in his office. He just need to manage the whole thing of the temple. That's it. But Pujya Dada Guruji was not like that. He is totally different kind of saint. He is a divine Satpurus, directly descended from the Akshardham. And that's why he had these qualities we can easily see in his life. His life is full of Dasbhav. And that's why there's thousands of incidents happen into his life which shows us the Dasbhav. But today we consider only one incident. Once, while Pujya Dada Guruji was there in Surat Mandir, he was a mahant there, meaning a head of the temple. At the time, due to drought and due to some poor condition in villages in Saurashtra, Kathiawar, so all those people from the Kathiawar, very remote villages, they were migrating themselves for earning some bread in the city of Surat. They were the devotees of Bhagwan Swaminarayan. So now they are coming towards Surat, but they did not have any place to stay there. They did not knew anyone in the city. They did not have any particular job or something, but just they came. And as they knew about this mandir, they first came for the darshan of Bhagwan. And after getting darshan of Bhagwan in the mandir, definitely they found if any santo would there, they would do their darshan. So when they met Pujya Dada Guruji, then Dada Guruji's nature, we knew about his nature, definitely he had a mother-like qualities, mother-like love without any expectation from anyone. So he definitely asked about their situation, why they came there, meaning only for the darshan or for staying in the city, for earning some bread or what. So definitely their devotees, they disclosed their heart, their situation, and Pujya Dada Guruji gave them blessings, and he said, you do not need to do any kind of worries. This mandir is your home. You have to stay here. I'll take care of everything. Pujya Dada Guruji gave them accommodation in the mandir. Moreover, whenever any other devotees, local devotees who are a businessman or a shopkeeper, Pujya Dada Guruji requests them, if you need any person, please first give the chance to these devotees. They really need a job. In this way, Pujya Dada Guruji said them. And sometimes what happened, after getting a job, these devotees from remote villages, not doubt they are staying in the mandir, but they had to go early in the morning for the job, and they would come late at night because they did not learn anything or they did not get any education. So definitely they had to do labor jobs. So early in the morning, after getting a shower, after performing a puja very speedily, they walked away, or with the bicycle they reached their job places. On the other hand, sometimes, not every day, but sometimes they forgot to wash their clothes and they were there in the washroom. So Puja Dada Guruji himself, even though he was the head of the temple, he himself washed their clothes. The devotees' count was not like 1, 2, 3. There were many devotees, like maybe 25 to 50s. But still Puja Dada Guruji washed all of their clothes and dry them. And we knew about the situation at the time, not the dryer and washer in India. He hand washed all the clothes and dry them on the stream. Sometimes those devotees, after getting tired of the whole day labor work, they even forgot about their clothes, meaning they forgot to wash their clothes in the morning. So they just came back, they ate the prasad and just retired for the sleep. But sometimes a few devotees, they found out Puja Dada Guruji was washing their clothes. So in this way, Puja Dada Guruji's servitude, his humility, his Dasbhav teaches a great lesson in our life. If he is a Mahant, he is a head, and still he is washing the clothes of the devotee, what we cannot do for the devotees of God? How he understood the importance of Dasbhav, how he understood this Vachanamrut of Gada middle 62 and Gada middle 28. If we are in the satsang of Loyadham Parivar, we must need to acquire this quality in our life. If we serve, we will get the Rajipo. And that's why we need to serve. This is a simple logic. Next, Puja Guruji's Dasbhav. Now we knew about these qualities of Dasbhav descended from Maharaj to Swami Shri, meaning our Adi Gurudev, Muktanand Swami. And in our Guru Parampara, the same qualities we have seen in Puja Dada Guruji's life, as well as we can easily see, observe these divine qualities of Dasbhav in Puja Guruji's life as well. Puja Guruji's life is very humble, and we can say very like low profile, meaning he has no particular choice for himself, no any kind of status, no any kind of like I am a Sadguru or something like that. No. Sometimes while Santo were like cutting vegetables and Puja Guruji was passing by there, he himself came and sat down with the other Santo to helping them. Sometimes while walking, he found Santos were doing seva in the kitchen. He came there and asked for some seva, even though he is a Sadguru, and even though he is older than the others in age, still he is performing this seva. Why? Because he understood the importance of Dasbhav. He wanted us to learn this Dasbhav through his life. Once upon a time, how his Dasbhav, not only for the devotees. Once, Puja Guruji, along with the other Santo, going somewhere, and on the way, they got an accident. No doubt, the Guruji's car driver was not at any fault. The fault lies on the other vehicles. So when a scooter meaning a motorbike, he fell down by the Puja Guruji's car. So immediately he stopped there. But on the next moment, the motorbike driver, he came out to the driver's side in his top of the anger. He was speaking very rough language, and when the driver opened the window, immediately he began to beat the driver, and immediately Puja Guruji said, stop, why are you beating him, why are you hitting him? He is not at a fault, you are at a fault. And he immediately came on the Puja Guruji's side and he slapped on Puja Guruji's face. And Puja Guruji said, it's okay. Then Puja Guruji didn't speak anything nor do react in any way. Instead, he instructed the driver to pay the motorbike driver for his damage on his bike. On the other hand, the other devotees and Santa who were also seated in the car, they would become frustrated. Why he is slapping on Puja Guruji's face? And they were trying to go out of the car and try to give him a revenge. But Puja Guruji immediately stopped them. Sit down, no one would go outside of the car if you are my disciple. This is what, moreover, he himself said to that motorbike driver, please forgive my driver, please forgive us. What kind of this humility, what kind of this Dasbhav? Otherwise, one immediately called the police, one immediately one definitely can rebuke that or take revenge for this. But in many of his life's incident, he never think anything bad for any person. Even though the persons who tried many ways to hurt Puja Guruji, to damage his reputation, still he never try or never think anything bad for those persons. This is what his Dasbhav. By understanding his life, Puja Guruji's life as well as Puja Dada Guruji's life, we at least understand, we at least try to earn this Dasbhav in our life as well. Let me see in next slide. Write down exactly who you are. You are a leader. Are you a karyakarta? Are you a CBT coordinator? Are you a sadhu? Are you a devotee? Are you a senior? Who am I? I am nothing. I am a das. I want to become a das. And if we are a das, then we should understand every other single devotees, they are greater than me. If we understand this, if we try to imbibe this quality in our life, then Bhagwan, our Sadguru, all the divine Sadgurus from our Muktanandiya Parampara, Puja Guruji, they all become pleased upon us, and when they become pleased upon us, they would grant us their happiness, what they are experiencing, the divine bliss of Akshardham. They were granting the same inner peace, same divine bliss of Akshardham to us. And if we want to attain this, we must become a das. Let we all try to become a das by saying this, my humble Jai Swaminarayan. શ્રી ઠાકોરજી મહારાજની જય. શ્રીપતિમ શ્રીધરમ સર્વદેવેશ્વરમ ભક્તિધર્માત્મજમ વાસુદેવમ હરિમ માધવમ કેશવમ કામદમ કારણમ સ્વામિનારાયણમ નીલકંઠમ ભજે. શ્રી ઠાકોરજી મહારાજની જય.